In the latest U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Association rankings, the Bradley Braves are actually the highest ranked teams from the Missouri Valley Conference, with the men ranked 10th and the women ranked 5th in the Midwest region. And here to talk things over with us, talk a little cross country, I am pleased to be joined by Eric and Emily Delvo of the Bradley Braves. Eric, Emily, how are you guys doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. First of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know things are hectic this time of year in the fall and right in the middle of the season, but we like to sort of visit with student athletes around the league to sort of get their thoughts on things that have been happening so far up to the point, getting ready for the championship, obviously, a little bit less than a month away for you guys. That championship being hosted by Southern Illinois this year, I'm kind of curious for you two. I've heard that their course is a little bit tougher than some of the others around the league. Is that true? And if so, what makes it so tough?
God.
Yeah, I've actually never been down there. We have a few guys on the team and girls that have actually run the course, I think in high school, and they've said it's very challenging. And we've talked to just coaches and stuff like that. And so no one really knows, especially not like the full 8K course, but I've heard it's a pretty difficult course.
Emily?
My whole thought on it is I personally don't really like to get into the background of deep courses and where everyone lines up and everything. I just like to show up and I know that I need to run well and that's what I have to do. So I personally haven't really looked into the course very much, but my whole thought is that everyone has to run the same course, so it shouldn't matter how hard it is,
Sure, very, very true, very true. Now, with them hosting the championship this year, is there a different mentality for you two going into a championship race for the Valley versus one of your regular season meets?
Absolutely. Coach Wood has us focusing more towards the end of the season than the beginning of the season, understandably so. That's where all our important meets line up. And definitely with the conference title or conference meet, that's kind of where our season surrounds, our season really starts focusing. Obviously, everyone wants to win their conference meet, and considering Southern won last year, it would be a very cool thing to go in on their course and beat them at home. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely. Southern's won, on the men's side a few in a row here. So to go in, they've had the target on their back for a while now, and we've been building and building, and I think we've had the best team we've ever had this year, and we're really excited to go down there and show up and see what we can do at a conference meet.
Yeah, now the Missouri Valley Conference had some pretty good success in terms of cross-country track and field, some really extraordinary athletes. We've talked to John Mascari before, who's had an outstanding year. We know the story of Wichita State, Indiana State with their track and field cross-country pass. As student athletes, do you guys look at the league across as a whole and really have a sense of pride that there are student athletes in both cross-country and track and field, especially you guys have had success in the distance running meets and track and field, really have a sense of pride that there are student athletes from our conference that can go on and do great things at the national level?
Definitely. Yeah, John Mascari is a great example of that, just long distance wise, showing up and, killing it in the track season and cross last year. And, St. Pence Tether in the middle distance for the guys. And then I know we have a ton of sprinters. We had, Illinois State, I think, always has good throwers. They're all national champions, I even think. So, I definitely think our conference is building, especially long distance. I mean, my freshman year, it was just, I wouldn't even place anywhere my freshman year if I ran the same time I did now. So, it's just, you get faster and faster every year, and it seems like how much faster can we go? But, I definitely think we're a conference that, we have 4 or 5 teams in the top 15 of the region every year now. So, it's pretty exciting. And it's good because we bring in good competition. You go to each race and you're battling against some of the best competition out there.
Yeah. Now, Emily, I wasn't going to bring this up, but you talked about how you prepare for a race and you just look at it, show up, and run the race. You use that mindset in a competitive spirit with your brother. I know there's got to be some sort of sibling rivalry between you two, right? I mean, you're both at the same school. You both are there together. You're running on the same team. There's got to be something there, right?
Right. I mean, obviously, I look at a meet like Notre Dame or Nationals or something different than I would conference, just because the amount of people in a race. But between Eric and I mean, Obviously, when we were younger, I don't know what it was, but I always seemed to do a little bit better, a little bit sooner. And Eric, even junior year of high school and really starting junior year here at Bradley, he just seems to kind of figure it out. Everything clicks, and he suddenly just gets a whole lot better. But it's just kind of funny because last year in cross country at conference, we both ended up getting seventh. And for the longest time, he thought he got sixth. Yeah. And I was kind of like, no, like
I was pretty excited about it.
I made sure I watched the finish. I know you got seventh. And he didn't believe me. And so he was all excited. You know, I got sixth. I finally beat you place wise in a race. And we ended up getting seventh. So, I mean, it's obviously hard to compare times directly because they're going to run faster than us. They're going to run longer than us, you know. But there's definitely that whatever can be sibling rivalry, there's some there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's and the best part is everyone else feeds on it too. You know, like everyone came up and said you got sixth to me. So I was thinking I got sixth. I know Emily got seventh. I was like, all right, let's go.
But, he came up and rubbed it in my face.
You know, and everyone else is like, yeah, Eric, you beat her and all this stuff. And then we find out that we got seventh. But I mean, that's still, you know, a great finish. And then track, you know, it's pretty hard to compete when, you know, she ran 4 events and she has 3 conference titles. I mean, that's pretty tough in track. So I don't know. I'm still trying in that front.
That's all right. That's all right. I know Emily's got quite the resume she's put together. We'll flash some of that on the screen here, some of her achievements. But Eric, you also are involved on something outside of athletics. Well, not outside of athletics, but student athlete side. The student athlete committee, SAC. Can you talk a little about your involvement there, both at Bradley and then on the conference level?
Yeah, Bradley, we don't call it Bradley SAC. It's the Braves Council. And, you know, we meet once a month and talk about all kinds of stuff. You know, any problems we try to address. We talk about any volunteer opportunities for the whole program that we can do. You know, we have like a little Braves Day where we bring kids from local middle schools in and we teach about nutrition and we play games with them and stuff. And so we basically just kind of we plan events like the student athlete picnic that we have. And so I'm the president of that, and we have a bunch of different. Each team is represented in there, and that's a lot of fun. You know, just playing everything out for the whole year. And then this summer, I went down to St. Louis with you and a bunch of other people from the conference, and we met up and talked about new NCAA rules and the autonomy and, you know, conference rules and all kinds of stuff leading up for this year. So
very cool, very cool. No, you guys obviously get the opportunity to serve as the voice of student athletes in regards to all the national issues, conference issues, and make sure that student athletes are heard and taken into consideration. So finally, for you two, now I saw in your bios, you both have the same major. Is that true?
Yeah.
It is true.
So what are the plans after college? First of all, tell the folks what your major is for the folks at home, and then what your plans are after college.
Well, we're both health science majors, and originally, well, my mom's a PT, or our mom's a PT, and so I think originally we were both thinking. Well, I actually came into Bradley thinking more business side, and then I soon went over to health science, and where I would think we were both at PT for a while, and now I kind of more towards the chiropractic route. My uncle's a chiropractor up in Cedar Falls at UNI up there, so he's kind of convinced me, I think, to kind of go his route. And then,
yeah, like Eric said, I'm a health science major as well. When I came in, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do something related to medicine. So I was still kind of deciding whether it was like PT or med school or, you know, something along those lines. I decided probably in the last 6 months or so to do physician's assistant. So I'm planning on using my redshirt year in track. So I will be here another year. And then I plan to go on to physician's assistant school.
All right, very cool. Well, I have one more question for you. Now, the gentlemen at Southern Illinois, their thing to prepare for the conference meet, they like to grow facial hair. Last year, they all had mustaches, if you might remember. Do you guys have any little things, intricacies, or something that you're doing to prepare for the conference meet?
I talked to Oscar, recently, and we talk back and forth on Twitter and stuff, and I've seen, and I saw him at Notre Dame, so I saw the mustache there, but I heard that they were doing that. I know Chase Coffey on our team has a nice one growing. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't really have kind of a team thing that we do. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that we can kind of start here in the next few years.
All right. Well, we'll be on the lookout for it. The cross country championship coming up early first weekend of November, November 1st at Southern Illinois, hosted by the Salukis. Races will begin that morning. I believe it's either 9 or 10 a.m. Don't quote me on that. But all the info is up online, NBCSports.com. Eric, Emily, we'll wish you good luck in that race, and we'll see you in Carbondale in a few weeks.